so now the haze is over, as people think, but we have another 3 months of the dry season left, and I can guarantee the wind is going to blow from Riau to Malaysia sometime over these 3 months, and I can also guarantee there are going to be more fires started in Selangor, particularly over the coming months, that we really have to be rigorous in trying to prevent those fires. If you wait until the haze comes to do anything, then basically you've wasted the opportunity. For these type of issues, for peat fires, the only way to succeed is prevention, and the only way to prevent is to be working before the fires start. Once the fires start, you can do something about reducing the spread. You can reduce the chance of new fires in an additional area, but to put the fire out, very difficult. And that's the problem being faced in Riau at the moment. Selangor has 8 different areas in Selangor with significant fire-prone peatlands, from the area around KLIA to the south, to the Johan Setia area in Klang, which also has been burning, and then the Raja Musa area, and then in Sabak Burnham district there are also those areas. So basically what we are wanting in Selangor, or want to encourage through the campaign, is to get people, whether it's local people or government authorities, to be doing regular patrolling of these areas and to report 2 key things. We don't want to wait till the fire's burning. We want people to look particularly for any land clearing activities. So people normally who are doing land clearing, they're cutting the vegetation, allowing it to dry a few days, and then going and burning it. So it's at that time when they start land clearing. So when they're only doing land clearing, you cannot pick up a hotspot, you cannot detect. Normally, only people that are on the ground can do that. So that's why we have the patrol groups. I think for Selangor, we need about 30, 40 volunteers.
30, 40 volunteers for Selangor only,
Yeah. And then beyond that, for just the awareness and for the promotion of the campaign, maybe another 20 volunteers who could help us with, particularly with social media, with other things, with blogs and so on, who are willing to promote a broader engagement of the public. We need everyone to understand why the haze is happening and what can be done, not to wait for the haze and start complaining. We want people to be understanding and then pushing for the right solution beforehand. And the same approach we're also expanding to Riau. So in Riau we have been working on and off for the past 5 years. So we've identified how people can be involved. We've given basically 3 or 4 options that people can get involved. One, people can directly contribute funds to support work in Malaysia, either as one-off contributions or as sustaining contributions. So we have a system for monthly deduction from bank account or from credit card, or for one-off contributions or donations. The second area is that we're asking for volunteers to help promote the campaign and to encourage more people to contribute. But we also have opportunities for volunteers in some of the patrolling and even some of the community-based fire control activities, either in Selangor or possibly in Riau. And this is one of the basis by which the Indonesian government said there are fires in plantations owned by Malaysian companies. So they have compared the hotspot location with the location of the concession boundaries. So GC, as part of our campaign, has spoken to a number of the key players to investigate a bit further. Are they really responsible, or what their story is? So we have talked to the largest number of hotspots are within the timber concessions. These are the industrial tree plantations. So you can see the numbers within one concession area up to 143 hotspots. So this is from 20th to 23rd of June. So that basically last weekend. The main groups are Sinha Mass Forestry, which has many of the concessions, and this Rajagaruda Mass Royal Golden Eagle. They are the partners or the subsidiaries of April. So timber plantations, pulp and paper plantations have a very large number of hotspots. Then for the oil palm plantations, so there are a number of groups. One clarification on this list, the second one, Jatin Jaya Perkasa, it says on this list it's Wilmar Group, but Wilmar clarified yesterday this plantation is not part of the group, so there was some outdated information in the database from the Ministry of Forestry in Indonesia. The main ones are actually Indonesian groups, but as you know from statements by various ministers or spokespersons from Indonesia last week, there were a number of Malaysian companies which were named as well, including Tabung Haji plantations and also Sime Darby was mentioned, and there are, I think, two other groups. Sime Darby has come out with documentation which it has provided to RSPO, I believe, yesterday. So they have shown the detailed boundaries of their concession areas, of their operational areas. There is one confusing factor here. Indonesia goes through a 2 or 3 stage process for the allocation of land for concessions. The first stage is overall general allocation of land, where normally a large piece of land is allocated in principle to the company. The company must then do a environmental impact assessment and a feasibility study and decide which portion is feasible, appropriate to develop a plantation, and then for that they will get a license to develop the plantation. So they are only allowed to plant within the license area. The other portion they don't have control of, and that is what Sime Darby has said, that the majority of the hotspots are not in its license area. For one of the license area, there are no hotspots in the license area. For one area, there are 3 hotspots in the license area, but the 3 hotspots are areas controlled by local communities. They have to allocate some portion of the license area to local community for economic activities, and they're also setting aside some conservation areas. So Sime Darby, as one example, has said that the hotspots are within the license area, but not in the area that they have used for plantation. So I believe that information is being web posted by Sime Darby. So this process is still ongoing. The Indonesian government is also in the process of investigating. As another example from the timber industrial tree plantations, this group of concessions, industrial tree plantations, this comes under the Sinha Mass Forestry group, and I spoke with the senior officers from there, and they indicated that this is about a 10,000 hectare oil palm plantation which is being developed illegally within their concession boundary. Similarly, this is an encroachment into their concession boundary where people, whether locals or migrants or others, are coming in and clearing their acacia plantation and converting it to oil palm plantation. So we have staff now gone down to Riau, and they're visiting this area tomorrow to gather further information in conjunction with the local government. So because if we're going to prevent this problem or control the problem, we need to understand what is the real cause of the fires.